Good evening, Radha. Hello, Radhika. Good evening, Praneel. First like, oh my God, two people and two like, two participants. Good one. How are you all, guys? Hello, Isha. Good evening. Good evening, Karthik. Yes, I am pretty good. Hope you are also doing good today. Well, guys, yesterday we could not complete active and passive voice in past tense, but I hope you remember the past indefinite tense that we did yesterday. Hello? Thank you, Praneel. That's so nice of you guys. And today we are going to talk about passive voice in past tense. We already discussed about past indefinite tense yesterday. So before I begin, I just want you to transform one sentence of past tense into passive. Okay? Your sentence for today is the boys flew kites. Kindly transform this sentence into passive voice. The sentence is in past tense, simple past. So transform this sentence into passive voice, declarative. Okay, Asha says the kites were flown by the boys. Well, good evening, Amber. Good to see you. The kites were flown by boys. All have liked the video. Thank you so much. The kite, Radha, it should be the kites were. And the third form is flown, not float. We only did past tense indefinite yesterday. Absolutely correct, Isha. We only did past indefinite tense yesterday. So all of you have sent me answers. The correct answer is the kites were flown by the boys. This is how we transform it into passive voice. Okay. So now after this, I want you to transform the sentence into interrogative. Can you change it into interrogative passive? Interrogative passive. Were the kites flown by the boys? Absolutely correct, Isha. Were the kites flown by the boys? Transform this into negative. Okay, I'll write a negative sentence now. The boys did not fly kites. So the boys did not fly kites. Transform this sentence into negative passive. Were the kites flown by the boys? It should be boys here as per the question. Well, Amber and Radhika, both of you are correct. Were the kites flown by the boys? That's correct. Were the kites not flown by the boys? That's negative interrogative. Good one, Isha. Can you guys transform the sentence into passive voice? This negative one, negative passive. Pranil has sent me were boys. Pranil, where is the answer? It should be were the kites flown by the boys. Good evening, Shweta. You are absolutely correct. Kites were flown by the boys. That is declarative. Weren't the kites flown by the boys? That's also correct. Yes, I'm pretty much happy to hear this. I saw in the morning itself that there were 263 subscribers. In fact, we were aiming for two more last evening. So, yes, after the class, there were 261. Thank you so much. The kite was not flown by the boys. Well, Radha, please make sure that you are, referring to the words as such they are given in the question. So if it is plural, keep it plural only. Don't change it from plural to singular or singular to plural. Plural. Okay. Well, so looking at you guys, your answers. Yes, thank you. Looking at your answers, one thing I have understood that you know very well how to transform the sentences into passive voice, and whether it is negative interrogative, or simple declarative, you can transform all of them. So let's move on to the next one where we are going to talk about passive voice past continuous tense. And when we are talking about passive voice past continuous tense, then the first thing that we need to have is an active voice sentence in past continuous tense. Can you give me one? Okay, I will give you a sentence. Girls were riding bikes. The girls were riding bikes. Now look at the sentence. The Doyer girls. Kites weren't flown by the boys. That's correct, Shweta. The girls were riding bikes. So transform the sentence into passive voice. Can you? Could you please transform this sentence into passive voice? The bikes were ridden by the girls. Is the sentence correct? Isha? The sentence is in past continuous tense. So where is continuous form of verb? That continuous form of verb is missing in your sentence. When we talk about continuous, it should have ing somewhere. किसी ना किसी verb में होना चाहिए. No, rather, sorry. All right. As you see, this is continuous tense. So when we are talking about continuous tense, we ought to put it like this. Bikes were being ridden by the girls. Bikes were being ridden by the girls. The girl was riding a bike is simple sentence. You in active voice. You have to transform that into passive voice. So it should be bikes were being ridden by the girls. Okay. Now let's come to the structure of this affirmative. Object plus was or were. Because it is continuous tense, so we will add being. Because it is passive voice, so we add V3 plus by plus doer or the subject. That comes to the end of the sentence. Okay, good evening, Kanishta. So we have bikes were being ridden by the girls. I have got another question for you, and the question is, Rohan was baking a cake. So transform this sentence into affirmative. Rohan was baking a cake. Yes, Shweta, bikes were being ridden by the girls is correct. Please transform this sentence, Rohan was baking a cake, into passive voice. Was, were plus being plus V3. Absolutely correct. That is what you have to take care for when it is past continuous tense. Well, Isha, the sentence is Rohan was baking a cake. Okay, a cake was baked by Alex. Sorry, Amber. A cake was baked is past indefinite and we are talking about past continuous. The cake was being baked by Rohan. That's correct, Radha. Kanishta also correct. Amber says, I don't remember the name. Whose name do you wish to remember? Are you busy on your phone? No. I was sending a message to some of the people who are still waiting for the class to begin. The cakes were being baked by Rohan. Okay, we were talking about a cake, so actually it should be a cake was being baked, but the cakes were being baked. Grammatically, the sentence is correct. All right, so let's move on to the negative ones now. object plus was, were plus not. You have to insert a not before being as you do it in present continuous, so you will do it past continuous. Were not, being, plus V3 plus by plus doer, or the person who is doing things. So kindly transform the sentence. The girls were not riding bikes. I'm adding a not here. So kindly tell me what shall we do here. Object plus was, were plus not plus being plus V3 plus by plus doer. So transform these two sentences into negative. The girls were not riding bikes, or Rohan was not baking a cake. Well, Kanishta is saying object plus was, were plus not being plus V3 plus by plus doer. That's absolutely correct, Kanishta. Can you transform this sentence now? The bikes were not being ridden by the girls. That's correct, Radha. Radha, I would appreciate if you, rectify the spelling also. Ridden. Well, Kanishta, you are also correct. The bikes were not being ridden by the girls. Shweta, the cakes were being baked by Rohan. That's correct. Can you transform it into negative? The bikes were not being ridden by girls. That's correct, Isha. Okay, Kanisha says the cake was not being baked by Rohan. That's correct. The cake was not being baked by Rohan. Kanishta, Aisha, both of you are correct. Alright, since both of you are correct and Shweta is also giving correct answers. Praneel, the cake was not being baked by Rohan. That's absolutely correct. Karthik, where are you? You are missing. You're not sending answers. The cakes were not being baked by Rohan. That's correct. The bikes weren't being ridden RIDDEN. Shweta, it should be RIDDEN. The bikes weren't being ridden by the girls. All right, let's transform it into interrogative. And for interrogative, all we do is we interchange the position of auxiliaries with the subject or the object here in this case. So all I am doing is was, were plus object plus being plus V3 plus by plus doer, ending in a question mark. That's correct, Amber. A cake was not being baked by Alex. Shweta is saying a cake was not being baked by Rohan. That's correct. Eddie says, were the bikes not being ridden by the girls? Absolutely correct, but we are still on interrogative only, and you have given me negative interrogative passive. Eddie, we are doing interrogative now. Okay, Kanishta has copied the structure was, were plus object plus being plus V3 plus by. Alright. Was the cake being baked? Rather, it should be being baked. Was the cake being baked by Rohan? Well, Kanishta says, were the bikes not being ridden by the girls and was a cake not being baked by Rohan? Well, Kanishta, both the answers are absolutely correct. So let's move on to the negative interrogative now. And again, we will pick up the negative sentence and interchange the position of was were with object. Okay? So we would write was or were plus object plus not being plus V3 plus by plus doer, ending in a question mark. Well, could you please transform the sentence into negative interrogative now? Was, were plus object plus not being plus V3 plus by plus doer. Children, please transform the sentence into negative interrogative. The girls were not riding bikes or Rohan was not baking a cake. Transform these sentences into negative interrogative. Were the bikes not being ridden by the girls? That's correct, Kanishta. Was the cake not being baked by Rohan? That's correct. Amber, Addy, Isha, Radha, Karthik, Praneel, kindly send your answers. Was the bike not being ridden by the girls? Well, Radha, this is again, bikes. So that's plural. It should be were the bikes not being ridden by the girls? Were the bikes not being ridden by the girls? Okay, Praneel is writing were the. Praneel, kindly send me the whole answer. Radha says, was the cake not being baked by Rohan? Radha, we don't use the before the names of the names of people. So it should be by Rohan. Were the bikes not being ridden by the girls? All right. Were the bikes not being ridden by the girls? Absolutely correct. All of you are correct. Yes, Kanishka, we are moving to past perfect tense now. Please make sure that you have copied the structures. Don't forget that. Okay, that was a typo error, Radha. Praneel says, were the bikes not being ridden by the girls? That's correct. Well, let's move on to past perfect tense. And when we are talking about past perfect tense, then let's take a sentence. The police had arrested the culprit. The police has arrested the culprit. So, can you transform this sentence into passive voice? See, it will become the culprit, which is the object here, that will become the subject for passive. The culprit had arrested. It is perfect tense, so we ought to have had. However, when we change it into passive voice, it becomes had been arrested by the police. So this is how we transform the sentence. The police had arrested the culprit, or the culprit had been arrested by the police. Okay? So here we have the sentences. I'm writing one for you guys, which you are going to transform and share with me. So my sentence for you guys is, Mother deer had hidden the baby behind the bush. So that's the sentence for you. All right. So mother deer had hidden the baby behind the bush. Can you transform this sentence into passive voice? Is it visible now? Okay, Shweta says the culprit had been arrested by the police. That's absolutely correct. Okay, it's visible to Kanishta. Karthik, what happened to you? You just deleted your message. Okay. The culprit had been arrested by the police. Well, mother deer hid the baby. No, dear, that's not the correct sentence. The correct sentence is mother deer had hidden the baby behind the bush. Is the screen better now? Are you able to see? Is it visible now? The baby was hidden. Well, Isha, we are talking about perfect tense. Look at the above sentence, the culprit. The culprit comes, the object becomes the subject. When we make it passive, had been arrested. So had arrested will change to had been arrested. Okay, the culprit had been arrested by the police. So let's come to the structure. What we have here is object plus had been, because we are talking about perfect tense in passive voice, and that too past perfect. So had been plus V3 plus by plus doer. So this is the structure. All right. Mother deer had hidden the baby behind the bush. Okay. Kanisha says the baby had been hidden behind the bush by the mother. By the mother deer. That's correct. Amber says the baby had been hidden in the bush by the mother. That's correct. Amber, you are typing too fast. Perhaps your tense has been changed properly, but rest of the sentence. Ma'am, can you write the formula for affirmative past perfect in the chat? Well, guys, it is object plus had been plus V3. Had been plus V3 is the change. This is for you, Kartik. Object plus had been plus V3 plus by plus doer. Okay. The baby had been hidden by the mother in the bush. Okay, let's write the negative structure now. Object plus had not been plus V3 plus by plus doer ending in a full stop. So what do we have? Object had not been V3 by doer. The baby had been hidden behind the bush by the mother deer. That's absolutely correct. Object plus had not been plus V3 plus by plus doer. Okay, the culprit had not been arrested by the police. Absolutely correct, Eddie. The baby had not been hidden behind the bush by the mother deer. That's correct, Karthik. Both of you have given me correct transformations for negative. Radha is saying the baby deer had not been hidden behind the bush by the mother deer. That's absolutely correct, Radha. This time there is not even a slightest mistake. Well, I would request those who have not yet liked the video, please go ahead and like it. Amber is saying it is 7 out of 10. So there are 3 participants who have not yet liked the video. Please, this is the least you can do for us. You are welcome, Radha. Well, guys, are you sending me more negative transformations? Let's move on to the interrogative. And what do? We just pick up had and put it in the beginning. So here we have had plus object plus being plus V3 plus by plus doer ending in a question mark. Shweta says the baby had not been hidden behind the bush by mother deer. That's absolutely correct. Guys, please transform the sentence into interrogative now. Well, guys, could you please share your answers for interrogative now? Had the baby not been hidden behind the bush by the mother deer? Well, Shweta, I'm asking interrogative, not negative interrogative, Abhi. Abhi, I'm asking interrogative. Had the, where does the sentence come from? Had the bikes been ridden by the girls? Rather, it would be, if you are trying to transform the previous sentence into perfect tense, passive voice, it would be had the bikes been ridden by the girls. Well, Karthik is saying, had the baby been hidden behind the bush by the mother deer? That's correct. Karthik, that's a very cute emoji. Had the culprit been arrested by the police? That's also correct. Sorry. Had the baby been hidden behind the bush by the mother deer? That's correct, Shweta. That's also correct. Well, Shweta says, had the baby been hidden behind the bush by mother deer? That's absolutely correct. Well, guys, let's move on to the negative interrogative now. So, all it becomes is had plus object plus not been plus V3 plus by plus doer, ending in a question mark. So all we are doing is inserting a not before between, and it can transform into passive voice, negative interrogative, past perfect tense. So had plus object, like had the police not been had the culprits not been arrested by the police. Please transform this next sentence. Well, guys, with this, kindly send me the answers for the last one, negative interrogative. Okay, Radha is saying, had the pig pizza not been eaten by me, Radha, it should be EATEN, eaten by me. Please make it eaten, not eaten. There is no such word as eaten. Had the baby chicken not been hidden behind the bush by the mother deer. Okay, had the baby. How many classes are left? Esha, there are only two more classes left. Oh, why this emoji? Are you feeling sorry that the classes will be over soon? The video is buffering? I don't think so. Well, Aisha, we are supposed to have two more sessions. I'll be taking those two sessions perhaps tomorrow and day after. Well, all good things come to an end, so don't worry, but you still can continue your sessions. I suppose Shweta ma'am might have called you regarding the classes and the special offer that we have come up with for you. So if you are interested in completing the entire course of Grammar Express, you may get in touch with us. You may drop me a message. All of you have my number. If you want, you can drop a message to me, or if you want, you can speak to Shweta ma'am, who had earlier also talked to you about these classes. All right, had the culprit not been arrested by the police? That's absolutely correct. Eddie, you are absolutely correct. Well, okay, yes, it's off on Saturday and Sunday. Well, thank you, Radha. Thank you for your kind words. See, today is the 19th day, and I will be taking two more sessions with you, and I'll be taking those sessions on Monday and Tuesday. Okay, so we'll be completing passive voice with models, and then we'll be discussing the exercise of the last day. So we have two more classes to go. Well, guys, could you please send me the answers to these two statements? Mother dear hand hidden the baby behind the bush. Please transform it into negative interrogative, and similarly for the one, police had not arrested the culprit. 1 minute left. 1 minute left to what? Oh, please don't start crying, guys. Send me the answers fast. Stop fooling around. Come on, send me the answers. Well, children, are you sending me answers? Please. Please send me your answers. Negative interrogative. Well, had the culprits not been arrested by the police, that's absolutely correct, Praneel. Well, guys, we have come to the end of today's session. So enjoy your weekend. I'll be sharing exercises with you about this past tense, and I'll be taking the concept class on Monday. Okay. So for the exercise, we'll be discussing both the exercises about past tense as well as passive voice models on Tuesday. So don't miss the classes, because with this we'll be completing the passive voice as well as the classes also, right? So till then, enjoy your weekend. Wish you all a very happy Saturday and Sunday. Uh, in this moment, rather I didn't get that. What are you trying to say? Amber, you are correct. No, last class will be on Tuesday. Kanishta will be taking one class on Monday and one on Tuesday. Tomorrow won't be possible, otherwise, I would have surely taken. Had the baby not been hidden behind the bush by the mother deer. Absolutely correct. Alright, guys, take care. Good night. That's a lovely song to hear. And bid adieu to each other. Good night, guys. Happy weekend. Be safe. Take care.